Hey folks, Jeff here at Back to Country. Appreciate y'all stopping by the channel today. Well, if you've been following along, you know that well, things haven't gone the way we planned. Anyway, we've been stuck in the city for months, and finally we've gotten cabinets ordered, and we're making progress forward. So we had a chance to break away and get back to the property. From the day we arrived at the property, well, from the day I left the property to the day I arrived back at the property was right about 3 months, maybe 3 months and a day or something, but we'll just call it 3 months. So let me show you what's going on and what happened in the 3 months I was gone. Well, the first thing you can see is in 3 months, the grass has grown and it's a mess. This is what happens when you abandon your property for 3 months. Now, I will say in that 3 months time, it hadn't rained much at all. So we've been in a drought, but we still got water in the trough that collected off the building. Of course, now it's full of larvae and, mosquito larvae and everything. So that ain't a good thing. And it ain't fit for drinking. So we're gonna have to dump it out, but we've been kind of watering some plants with it. Everything is just kind of a jungle. And here's my grapes, and unfortunately I don't know that these grapes are gonna make it. Now, one of my neighbors came by a few times and kind of tried to help me out by watering and all, and he definitely saved some of my plants, but these were in pretty bad shape when he found them. So I mean, this vine feels pretty dry and dead. I don't know if there's any life in the stalk or not, the roots, etc. This one right here, it's got a little color to it on the end there, and I think I saw some other places where there was a little bit of color left in it. So I don't know if it's gonna make it or not. We gave it some water. It's gonna rain again in a couple days, so we're leaving again, but we did the best we could to try to give them a chance. We gave them some more water, and we'll water them again even before we go. See if they possibly will come back to life, but in all honesty, I ain't holding my breath. They look pretty dead, and I just don't see any life other than that one, but it's so far up the vine that I suspect it's just part of the vine that hasn't died yet. I think everything below it's kind of already dead, so it is what it is. We'll just call the grapes a loss. And then you come over here and damn, I mean, it is a jungle. This goat weed just popped up everywhere. I thought about mowing it, but then I thought, well, we ain't gonna be here anyway, so just leave it, because at least it's fighting the erosion. Pile of dirt I left. But I mean, this weeds and stuff are growing up so much you can't even see all my electrical. It's out in there. So this goat weed just creeps up everywhere out here. So yeah, there's the transformer and the other electrical box in there, surrounded by goat weed. We will cut it eventually, but I don't have time to really mess with it this time. But you can see the weeds are just out of control. And it's amazing that without really any rain, just very little rain, that all this stuff has come up. Now, I will say the road is in very good condition. No rain, so didn't have anything to destroy it. So road's pretty good, no worries there. We made it in all right without any problem, and I was towing my trailer, bringing a load of stuff up here, and I'll be making some more loads. The intent now, since the movers basically packed everything out, is to try to grab a bunch of the what we'll call non-essentials, things we don't really use that much, whatever, and try to bring them up here, so that when we put everything back in the house, we're going to put in a lot less than what was in there, and try to put a lot of stuff into storage up here just to keep making progress. my what I call the campground area. You know, lots of dead grass, weeds, a little bit of green here and there, but not much. Overall, it's just dry grass. Everything just looks pretty pitiful overall. I guess we'll start over here. These were the strawberries, as you can see. Strawberries no more, but we still gave them some water, because what we noticed is, if you look close, like if you look right down in there, you can see there's a little green bud in the middle of that. There's green on that one. See the green? So here, this one's actually growing. One there's got green leaves on it. So if we look around all over at the strawberries, there's actually life in them strawberries. They're not all dead. Now there's a bunch of them that are dead, but there's life in some. Same thing here. Unfortunately, my favorite or best blueberry did not survive. That thing's pretty dead, dried out, no good. Coming over here to this mound, this one here is got a lot of green still in it, so I think it's alive. All the leaves are dead, but I believe the tree still has life in it, the bush, whatever you want to call it. So we watered it, hopefully it'll survive. This one actually still has a lot of life in it, lots of green leaves and everything, so that one should be okay. So I think both of these will survive. So there's two that made it. If we come around over here, this was a blueberry. It looks pretty dead. I don't think it's gonna make it. Come to the next one, and this one here's got life in it. So it's got one branch coming out there that's very much alive, and then it's got some dead branches. So overall though, I think it's got life. It's gonna make it. These were basil plants that have totally gone to seed, so hopefully basil just grow up wild here. Now if we come over here, you know, you can see these strawberries. There's a lot of strawberries underneath here that are very much alive. So lots of strawberries over around this one. Here's a blueberry that's still alive. It made it, you know, survived, made it this far, and now we got some rain coming, so hopefully it'll continue to stay alive. But lots of little strawberries around in there that have survived. This here is a dewberry, not a strawberry. I usually pull those out. Got plenty of dewberries around, don't need more. But this is a another basil, and there was a blueberry around here somewhere, but I do not see. Oh, this was it here. Here it is. So it's dead. Did not make it. That one's dead. This one's dead. It was barely alive anyway, and well, it didn't survive, so that's dead. This one looks dead. So looks like we've got four blueberries that survived. Everything else is dead, and some random strawberries that hopefully will pull through. I mean, they still got to survive the winter and everything else, but we'll see what happens. Coming into the garden, I mean, it's in terrible shape. Obviously, it's been abandoned, but surprisingly, my flowers have hung on. These things were covered with butterflies today, but we've got the zinnias and marigolds, and they're, you know, they're alive. And there's also some tomatoes, and that's a basil plant there. So there's basil that's alive, there's zinnias that are alive, there's marigolds that are alive. I mean, look at that flower right there, it's pretty. You know, those are pretty. Definitely they're attracting the butterflies. Butterflies were all over them. Here's a tomato plant. And you see this tomato plant is very much alive. I mean, it's not the healthiest thing in the world, but it's got life in it. And I did see even some green tomatoes on some of these. Try to find some. Well, here's a tomato that's actually blooms on it, you know. So that's pretty amazing that there's still some life in these tomatoes after basically being abandoned. Oh, look at this. Even when the tomato is completely horrible looking, these darn hornworms will still come around and feed on them. So goodbye, hornworm. We took care of that. Amazing. As dead as these things are, there's still hornworms feeding on them suckers. Guess that would be why it looks so eaten up. Amazing. More tomatoes that are, you know, hanging in there. I mean, look at this shoot here. It looks pretty decent considering no water or anything. It's not dead. It's not thriving, but, you know, these tomato plants are still alive. There you go. There's some tomatoes right there. So no water, no attention, no nothing, and they're still finding a way to produce. That's just crazy. But lots of flowers, lots of beautiful zinnias and marigolds all over in here amongst these tomatoes. Now look at this. Amazing. That's a poblano pepper. Not very big, but looks beautiful. There's some more poblanos in there. Unfortunately, I won't be around long enough to see those come to maturity and make me some chili rellenos, huh? Now this pepper plant here, I believe, was one of those lunchbox sweet peppers. And I mean, they're all over there, but they've got to grow bigger and then they change color. But amazingly, the plant's alive. Now this here is a serrano pepper. You can pick those. They don't have to be any size or whatever. They should be okay to eat, small like that. So since I'm leaving, I might as well pluck them. There's another tomato right there. And this was a jalapeno here. And there's a little jalapeno right there. Some flowers coming on. So it's still very much alive. This one here is another. No, that's actually not a jalapeno. That's a yellow bell. So that should be okay. Now I know why it looks like a jalapeno, because this plant here is the jalapeno right here, and it's got a couple of little jalapenos growing on it there. But this one here with the flowers and no peppers on it, that's a yellow bell pepper. So, but the plant's still very healthy. That jalapeno looks fine. This is another jalapeno right here, but it doesn't look like it's fared as well. No, this is a green bell pepper. And I see this one was on there, obviously didn't get eaten and just rotted away. This here, I don't know what kind of pepper this was, but it's not in very good shape. This was the tomatillo, and you can see there's little tomatillos all over it that just, they didn't get water, so they didn't grow. had they have gotten water, they would have continued to mature and grown big enough to eat, you know. But here's what I'm hoping. You can see they're all over the ground, and I'm hoping this will just kind of go wild and start a tomatillo patch here. Man, these chili peppers I picked, they're like oiling and fuming off, getting to me. They must be some good ones, little serranos. Anyway, you can see that green down in there. That's one of those little marigolds. So, I mean, the flowers and everything did well, even without the rain. The peppers seemed to hold on. Tomatoes, you know. So, had this garden have been, you know, well cared for, I think it would have been all right. Of course, here we can see that some zucchini grew out and basically just rotted away, but that plant's still basically alive. There's one over here with a big zucchini on it, but it ain't no good to eat because it's way too old. It's been eaten on by an animal, you know. We got, I believe this was, this is probably the watermelon here. So that was a sugar baby watermelon, that a couple of them that just kind of dried up. There's an old probably straight neck squash, I don't know, crook neck or straight neck, one of them, yellow squash. This was a golden zucchini, you know. So those things, there's a plant still alive there, but those things will basically just rot and make seeds, whatever. Still got like a turnip there, or radish or something, I don't know. They were some here before and they all just died away, but all them seeds are theoretically still in the ground, so who knows what kind of volunteers we'll get in here next year. We've already decided we're not going to grow a garden just because there's too much going on, and you know, it hurts too much to have something happen like did this year and then I gotta just abandon everything. You put so much work into the garden and then you got to abandon it, and well, there's what you get. But it was an experiment. I mean, the whole intent of doing this garden was to just kind of throw it out there and go pioneer style. Let it grow, see what it tells you. And what it tells me is that, hey, this stuff can grow here because it obviously grew in the worst of conditions. And so in the future, we can continue to amend this soil and make it even better, and we'll definitely have ourselves a nice garden in here when we get to that point. But for now, life just keeps getting in the way. Ain't that right, Whiskey? Ain't that right? Sure enough. Old Whiskey ain't getting any younger. He just hanging in there though, doing pretty good. Anyway, folks, that's just kind of an update of where we're at. I think we're gonna leave tomorrow and head back to the city. We've only been here a couple days. We just came up. A few things I had to take care of. One of them, I had to get the safety inspection done on my motorhome so I can get new tags on that and just keep it legal, even though I don't drive it much, mainly just live in it here, but I want to be able to drive it. And it needs some work, but I drove it up to get an inspection done on it and got that done, so ordered the new tags. That was something we definitely had to get done. And now took care of some other stuff while we were here, and I guess we'll be heading back to the city to continue with the house and try to get that wrapped up. Hopefully we'll have it completely done before the end of November. So we did get extended on that. We were originally looking at having it done by November 4th, but that didn't work out, so now we're looking at the end of November, and well, we'll see how it works out. As always, thanks for watching. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.